Chapter 782. Two crews landed on the top floor of a private hospital in North City. Since Xiangyi was going out, Shi Sui naturally had to follow her. The itinerary was confidential and the hospital security was strong. Their appearance did not attract much attention. The two of them registered at the reception desk and the nurses could not help but steal glances at them. There was indeed a huge difference between celebrities and ordinary people. Their hospital would occasionally have internet celebrities, but they had to admit that there was still a wall between them and celebrities. In the ward, her manager was instructing Mo Feifei to pay attention to her expression later. "We're definitely going to ride on this wave of popularity today. Even Jesus can't stop us." Mo Feifei, who was lying on the hospital bed, was beautiful but also very haggard. She looked pitiful. However, the moment she opened her mouth, she said, "What should I do? My little heart is thumping. I'm so nervous." Her manager said, "You'd better not talk later. I'm here." Sigh, why did such a beautiful girl have such a mouth? The staff at the side adjusted the live broadcast equipment and said, "Brother, it's done. I guarantee that when Shi Sui and Xiangyi come in later, we can start the live broadcast." The manager nodded. "Okay. Thank you for your hard work." He gave out 2 packs of cigarettes. A few staff members chuckled and took the cigarettes out. Mo Feifei rubbed her stomach with a pained expression. "Brother, I feel terrible. Bear with it." The manager persuaded her earnestly. "Why did we endure for so long? Isn't it to make a name for ourselves? Today is your best chance. If you miss today, you don't know how long you'll have to endure." Mo Feifei thought of the hellish life she had been living during this period and could not help but shudder. At this moment, the manager received a message from the stalker and was overjoyed. "They're here. Shi Sui and Xiangyi are in the elevator." He quickly opened the live broadcast and greeted the fans who had been waiting for a long time. "Hello, Mo fans. I'm Feifei's manager, Brother Fei. Feifei, say hello to your dear fans." Mo Feifei looked at the camera and a gentle smile appeared on her face. She was barefaced and her straight black hair was let down. She looked innocent but also a little weak. She was known by the netizens as the femme fatale. She moved her lips and was about to say something when Brother Fei shot her a cold glare. She immediately shut up and waved her hand. Her hands were fair and slender, and on the back of her hands, there were even traces of bruises from the foredrip. In an instant, Mo's fans felt their hearts ache to the extreme. Sister Feifei has suffered. I'm so angry, I really want to press Xiangyi down and kowtow to Feifei. Our Feifei's debut is imminent and was supposed to be her best stage, but now she's lying here because of Xiangyi. She's still a child, why does she have to bear all this? Tears, tears. Brother Fei's timing was just right. As soon as this wave of pitiful ended, there was a knock on the door of the ward. "Ahem, please come in." Shi Sui opened the door and entered the ward first. Mo's fans instantly misunderstood. "Wow! Shi Sui actually came to see our Feifei. Does he like our Feifei?" In just a moment, Xiangyi's figure appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Mo's fans were heartbroken. "Sorry to disturb you, Miss Mo," Xiangyi greeted in a gentle voice. Brother Fei was about to go up to her when he suddenly had a bad feeling. Mo Feifei exclaimed in surprise, "Sister, you're really here." Brother Fei was speechless. He had tried so hard to guard against her, but he never expected that it would be impossible to guard against her. Chapter 783. In the live stream, Mo's fans were also dumbfounded. What did we just hear? Mo Feifei was indeed an internet celebrity, but she usually only posted beautiful photos on social media and had never posted any audio clips. In the beginning, Mo's fans thought that the agency was trying to protect their undebuted artist and maintain a sense of mystery. But now, it seemed, that wasn't the case. Xiangyi nodded at Mo Feifei and said, "I heard about what happened yesterday. How are you feeling? Can I take your pulse?" Mo Feifei said, "That would be great." Brother Fei interrupted her. I'm sorry, Miss Xiang. Fei Fei has an attending doctor in charge of her treatment. In other words, he didn't trust Xiangyi to treat Mo Fei Fei. Xiangyi was already mentally prepared for this. Can I talk to her attending doctor then? Brother Fei said sternly. Miss Xiang, are you trying to bribe the doctor? In that case. Xiangyi paused for a moment. Brother Fei immediately perked up and tried to deal with Xiangyi's next scheme. Unexpectedly, she just said casually, I won't disturb you then. Brother Fei was speechless. Mo's fans were speechless. What? Isn't Xiangyi here to apologize to Mo Fei Fei? Is this the attitude of an apology? 2. Uproar. 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 Mo's fans immediately scolded. If Xiangyi saw the bullet screen comments, she would truly understand what modern internet culture was. Brother Fei said angrily, Our Fei Fei was hospitalized because she ate the dumplings you made. Are you trying to shirk responsibility? Xiangyi said calmly, Have you sent the remaining dumplings to a professional organization for testing? If so, when the test results are out, I'll definitely take responsibility if it's my fault. If it's not my fault, sorry, I won't accept any scams. In fact, from the moment she entered and observed Mo Fei Fei's complexion, she was already 90% sure that Mo Fei Fei was fine. Brother Fei choked and glanced at Mo Fei Fei. Mo Fei Fei shrank into the blanket guiltily. Where are the remaining dumplings? I've finished all my food, Xiangyi. Miss Mo, rest well and pay attention to your diet. Shi Sui, I wish Miss Mo a speedy recovery. Mo Fei Fei's management company smelled the buzz and quickly bought a trending topic. The viewers who had just entered the live broadcast room saw that Shi Sui and Xiangyi were about to leave. She's leaving just like that? Have you apologized? Why did Xiangyi bring Shi Sui here? Are you using your status to suppress others? Seeing that the two of them were about to leave, Brother Fei panicked. Hey, wait a minute, Xiangyi, In just a few minutes, Brother Fei made a decision. Well, please take Fei Fei's pulse. I heard that your medical skills are quite good. The hospital only gave a diagnosis of food poisoning and did not say anything else. As Mo Fei Fei's manager, Brother Fei was quite worried about her. Xiangyi nodded and walked to Mo Fei Fei's bedside. She asked, Can I? Mo Fei Fei was speechless. Sure. Her expression was like a little fangirl who had seen her idol, her eyes sparkling. Xiangyi, please give me your hand. Mo Fei Fei did as she was told. When she felt Xiangyi's hand on her wrist, Mo Fei Fei couldn't help but sigh. Sister, what kind of hand cream are you using? Your little hand is so tender and slippery. Brother Fei, why couldn't his artiste be a mute? Chapter 784. In the live stream, Mo's fans went from bewildered to disheartened. This is Fei Fei. Fei Fei, why can you speak? Don't shoot. Oh no, don't speak. I'm sorry, I'm dead. This woman with a strong accent turned out to be their goddess, Mo Fei Fei. Many of Mo's fans were instantly disillusioned. Xiangyi's expression remained unchanged as she finished taking Mo Fei Fei's pulse. Weak spleen, weak stomach, and hollow qi. Xiangyi frowned slightly. Do you usually eat and sleep irregularly? Mo Fei Fei said embarrassedly, I'm used to staying up late. I usually sleep at 2 or 3. The audience watching the live stream resonated with this. TSK, how many young people don't stay up late these days? As for eating, Mo Fei Fei glanced at the screen and gritted her teeth. She grabbed Xiangyi's hand with tears in her eyes, as if she had found a family member. Sis, I haven't had a full meal in a long time. Your dumplings last night were so delicious. I'm going to finish them off one by one. But I'm still hungry, what should I do? Brother Fei held the phone holder with one hand and covered half of his face with the other. He really couldn't bear to look at her. The goddess persona that he had painstakingly created had collapsed into a female psycho. Xiangyi said, You probably don't eat properly, and you're not eating properly. Plus, you're overworked, which led to a lack of energy and blood, resulting in a weak spleen. Mo Fei was dumbfounded. "Sis, what are you talking about?" Brother Fei staggered and trembled as he reached for the heart-calming oral fluid. His own artist had to die with tears in her eyes. After this psycho, Mo Fei was probably going to have another black mark for being uncultured. Xiangyi explained in layman's terms, "You usually eat too little and eat too much all of a sudden. Your spleen and stomach can't take it," which led to a series of reactions. "However, your pulse does show signs of poisoning. Apart from the dumplings, what else did you eat?" Mo Fei thought for a while and took out a bag to show to Xiangyi. "Boss told me to eat this meal replacement powder." "Do you usually eat this?" "That's not good. My boss said that I'm too fat. Someone with such a big frame like me looks tough on camera. I have to be as thin as a piece of paper to look good." When it came to her figure, Mo Fei was obviously not confident and was in low spirits. Brother Fei was stunned. "Didn't you tell me that you were eating a nutritious meal?" Recently, he had been helping Mo Fei run for resources, pull in connections, and sign the talent show contract. He did not have the time to care about Mo Fei's life. Every time he asked her, she would say that she was eating the nutritious meals arranged by the company. Brother Fei didn't take it to heart. Mo Fei looked innocent and showed Brother Fei the full name of the substitute fan frowny face nutritional milk substitute low-calorie free fullness. Brother Fei cursed out loud. Was the big boss crazy about money? In order to make his artiste lose weight, he actually resorted to unscrupulous means. How could she eat this every day? Xiangyi tore open the bag of meal substitute powder, sniffed it, and sighed. "I can roughly smell a few grains and additives. If you eat too much, the nutrients you consume will be too monotonous. It will cause malnutrition and may even cause food poisoning." Brother Fei felt terrible and wanted to argue with the boss. Before he turned off the live stream, he looked at the comments in the live stream in despair. They were probably all scolding Fei. To his surprise, the style of the comments was like this frowny face stopped dancing in a girl group. Change to crosstalk and debut. "Sisters, you're so funny. Brother Fei?" Chapter 785. He really didn't understand what young people were thinking these days. He took a closer look at the data. Admittedly, some of Mo Fei's fans had left because of Mo Fei's accent, but the number of fans had increased even more. "Our sister isn't fat at all. Trash company. Sister, quickly terminate the contract." Fei, hurry up and hug Xiangyi's thigh. "Change your contract to Tomato Entertainment. You'll be provided with food and a full stomach." She ate food instead of food poisoning and ended up in the hospital. "I'm sorry. Although it's pitiful, I think it's hilarious. I used to think that Mo Fei was quite pretentious, but now I suddenly feel like she's a treasure." Brother Fei couldn't believe it. Mo Fei had actually gained fans with that mouth of hers. In the blink of an eye, Brother Fei caught the main point. Xiangyi was the CEO of Tomato Entertainment. The contract he had gotten for Mo Fei was only for a year, and the penalty for breach of contract wasn't high either. Now that the company was using Mo Fei as a tool, frequent overmarketing wasn't good for an artist's development. Thinking of this, Brother Fei's expression changed instantly. He chuckled and said, "It's a misunderstanding, this is all a misunderstanding. But Sister E, since you're already here, there's something I want to tell you. Fei has always liked you and Little Rabbit Farm. If there's a chance, I hope Fei can go on a day trip there." This was the only thing he could do. He was just trying his best to pave a way for Mo Fei. "Sorry, Fei, this is all I can do for you." Brother Fei's heart was filled with sorrow. He even added a sad background music for himself. However, he heard Xiangyi's melodious voice. "If you want to go, you can go any time." There wasn't any special reason. It was just that Mo Fei was really too beautiful. The kind of beauty that Xiangyi couldn't resist. Mo Fei was overjoyed. "Really? Then there's no time like the present. Can I go to your house for a meal? As a guest today?" Xiangyi couldn't help but laugh. Okay. Brother Fei tried to defend Mo Feifei. Our Feifei isn't going for the meal. She really likes Sister E. She usually doesn't eat that much. The more he spoke, the less confident he became. After the misunderstanding was resolved, Mo Feifei happily boarded Xiangyi's tutu and flew straight to the manor. Brother Fei had already turned off his live stream, but there were still a lot of Mo fans watching the live stream. Their expressions were blank. Their minds were in a trance. Not only was Xiangyi not the culprit behind Mo Feifei's food poisoning, but she even invited the starving Mo Feifei to her house for dinner. He was simply a philanthropist. When she thought about how they had scolded Xiangyi so many times, she suddenly felt his face hurt. In the live stream of Two Under One Roof, the audience had been looking forward to it for a long time. Finally, Xiangyi and Shi Sui came back. But why was there a beauty following behind him? The fans of the untimely couple quickly went into a state of alert, afraid that this woman would not know what was good for her and would seduce Shi Yingdi. But what caught them off guard was that she was actually holding Xiangyi's arm intimately. Good. Safe. Wait a minute, safe my foot. Sister E is popular with both men and women. It's not safe for girls either. The staff stepped forward and gave Xiangyi and Shi Sui the microphones. After hesitating for a while, they also gave one to Mo Feifei. The conversation between her and Xiangyi was clearly heard by everyone. What are you doing? Killing a pig? Sis, I'll do it for you. Okay, I'll sharpen the knife for you then? Everyone was speechless. Two beauties were killing a pig online? Chapter 786. Oh my, that's great. We can still chat for a while. Okay. Hence, the two left Shi Sui behind and headed towards Little Rabbit Farm. Everyone was speechless. New beauty, let's make a deal. Can we turn off the mic? Campus goddess when she doesn't open her mouth, battle goddess when she opens her mouth. I hate _ Shi Yingdi is such a gigolo, he doesn't even know how to butcher a pig. Shi Sui is a noob. +1, +2, plus ID number. Somehow, the style changed from lamenting Mo Feifei's accent to despising Shi Sui for not knowing how to butcher a pig. Because of this, Shi Sui also became the trending topic of #ShiYingdi Rookie hashtag. The Shi Sui sisters' reaction was, that's right, he's a noob. He's a good-for-nothing man except for his acting skills and looks. The anti-fans were speechless. What use do I have for this keyboard? Are you all fake fans? Why are you more anti-fans than us? Little Rabbit Farm. Considering Mo Feifei's health, Xiangyi was in no hurry to bring her to butcher a pig. Instead, she made her some food first. She cooked a pot of Sanxian rice noodles, a plate of spiced beef, milk, and strawberries. Mo Feifei's face was buried in the bowl from beginning to end, and she didn't even look up. The audience's comments changed from, pretty girl, pay attention to your image, to, this girl is so good at eating. After eating 3 bowls of rice noodles, Mo Feifei still felt unsatisfied. If it weren't for Xiangyi stopping her, she would have eaten more. Delicious. It's so delicious. Mo Feifei's eyes were brimming with tears. I haven't had a full meal in a long time. Xiangyi pulled out a few tissues to help her wipe her mouth. However, Mo Feifei dodged. No, I can still eat some fruits. I'll wipe them together later. Save the tissue. After this meal, I don't know when my next full meal will be. Xiangyi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's not good for your body to lose weight by dieting. Besides, you're already very thin. Mo Feifei was 165 centimeters tall and weighed 46 kilograms. Her body proportions were excellent and she looked very slim in real life. No, I have to be as thin as a size 0 girl. Mo Feifei found a popular website called 1 Billion Young Girls' Dream, Girl Number 0's Height and Weight Chart. There were strict requirements for a girl's height and weight. For example, a height of 150 centimeters and a weight requirement of 33 kilograms, Xiangyi. According to this table, wouldn't it mean that only a skinny body was the so-called ideal? The girl's milky white face tensed up. Mo Feifei, beauty standards are diverse. It's not only the skinny ones who look good. There are many types of beauty. Slim, healthy, and plump ones are all beautiful. If someone attacks or humiliates you because of your figure, it's not your problem, it's the other party's problem. Mo Feifei's mouth was stuffed with strawberries. At this moment, she had forgotten to chew. Her cheeks were puffed up and she looked silly. However, she looked even more pitiful than her usual delicate self. Sister E is so righteous. Love, love. Mo Feifei, eat more. Use a basin. Exactly, why do all girls have to be thin? Isn't it because society pursues the abnormal beauty standards of fair, thin, and young? Most of Mo Feifei's fans also felt that Xiangyi's words made sense. However, there were a few extreme Mo Feifei's fans who thought differently. Ordinary people are ordinary people, and female celebrities are female celebrities. Xiangyi is trying to make our Feifei unable to be a female celebrity and can only be an ordinary person, right? Smile. Chapter 787. In the living room. Annan was shaking Xiao Naofu's hammock while scrolling through the comments. When he saw the comments, his head was filled with question marks. Are these people brainless? With this level of reading comprehension, I'll get a negative score in the language exam, right? He typed furiously and passionately with the trolls. Within a few minutes, a notification popped up on the screen. Your account has been banned. Ah, this system is too smart. How can it still be discovered that I'm cursing when I use homophones and separators? Annan scratched his head in pain. His colorful hair was in a mess, sticking up here and there. Just as he was going crazy, a pure black phone suddenly appeared in front of him. He looked up and saw an expressionless Si Chuanbai in a suit. Mr. Si, why are you here? Your artist can invite you, but my artist can't invite me? Oh. A certain top manager said in a businesslike tone, why are you in a daze? Use my account. Annan carefully said, what if it gets banned? His messy hair was suddenly smoothed out by a big hand. Mr. C sneered in his ear. Do your best. If it gets banned, I'll apply for 100 more accounts. Annan was speechless. As expected of Mr. C, Xiao Naofu, who was on the hammock, looked even more weary. After all, it was Hu who had to bear all the public display of affection. Mo Feifei's stomach was full and she patted her bulging belly with satisfaction. Suddenly remembering Brother Fei's instructions, she blushed and said timidly, am I eating too much? It's okay. She was a far cry from her brothers who brought bowls, pots, and pots of rice. Let me see the comments. Mo Feifei took out her phone and clicked into the live stream. When she saw the malicious comments, her good mood instantly disappeared. She slumped on the table gloomily. I've really been scolded. In the live stream, everyone was saying how much she ate. There were even insults such as, like a pig, sooner or later you'll become a dead fatty, and other people are runaway princesses, Mo Feifei is a runaway stepmother. What made Mo Feifei feel the most uncomfortable was that she had implicated Xiangyi. When Xiangyi said that there is a diversity of aesthetics, it was obviously for her health, but these netizens misinterpreted Xiangyi's meaning. Xiangyi makes everyone else fat while she's thin and beautiful. Bah, scheming B***tch. Xiangyi makes it sound so easy, but how can a person not care about what others think when they live in this world? Why don't you eat minced meat? Female celebrities have to be thin and pretty. After choosing this line of work, he could enjoy the pursuit and high income at the same time, but he couldn't even bear this little bit of hardship? Xiang XX, do whatever you want, but don't lead our Feifei astray. I'm sorry, sister. Mo Feifei said sadly. I've caused you trouble. I shouldn't have come. Xiangyi glanced at the comments and patted Mo Feifei's head. Don't be upset. I'll help you fight back. Mo Feifei looked at him suspiciously. You know how to insult people? After all, Xiangyi looked gentle and soft. She didn't seem like someone who would insult others. Xiangyi, I think so. She patted her face and changed her expression. Isn't this super fierce? Mo Feifei nodded. There's an inner taste. The audience was looking forward to it. This was Xiangyi's first time insulting netizens. Many marketing accounts were even ready to write their drafts in real time. In the next second, even the young girl turned her little face and picked up the butcher's knife beside her. She said fiercely, "If you guys keep talking nonsense, I'm going to sharpen my knife." Chapter 788. Mo Feifei helped to add to the atmosphere. What are you looking at? If you keep looking, I'll skin you. Everyone was speechless. Faced with the threat of two great beauties, who would be afraid? That's it? That's it? Yeah, Sister E, you're super fierce, I'm not being perfunctory. Is this how a cute girl scolds others? Ha ha ha, sorry, I don't feel scared, I just find her cute. The netizens who were active just now were at a loss for words. This. How were they supposed to retort? It wasn't easy for them to calm down, but these netizens brought up the female celebrities must be thin remark again. Xiangyi asked in confusion, aren't female celebrities human? The girl casually asked a rhetorical question, which instantly made the trolls shut their microphones. This question seemed simple, but it wasn't easy to answer. If they said that female celebrities weren't human, they would definitely become the target of public criticism. If they said that female celebrities were human, wouldn't that mean they were following Xiangyi's rhythm and agreeing with Xiangyi's point of view? Female celebrities are human too. Why can't we be more tolerant of the aesthetic standards of girls' bodies? Xiangyi's tone was gentle as she spoke. Why does everyone have to be the same size? Why do they have to be uniformly beautiful and conform to the established standards? If it's for health reasons, I don't agree with any extreme weight loss that involves dieting or even going on a hunger strike. Diet pills shouldn't be taken carelessly, they're very harmful to the body. My big brother said that every girl is sparkling. It's human nature to pursue beauty, but beauty shouldn't be limited to only one form. What do you think? Mo Feifei stared straight at Xiangyi. Although she didn't quite understand what Xiangyi meant, she felt that Xiangyi was too charming when she was serious. In the live stream, many viewers were deep in thought. Thinking about it carefully, Xiangyi's words did make sense. Which girl didn't want to lose weight every day? However, from a health point of view, did every girl really need to lose weight? Not necessarily. However, the aesthetic standards of the public had become an invisible shackle that set the rules. Not conforming to the rules was a mistake. Over 100 pounds was considered a sin. You're a troll and you still have the nerve to troll her? They probably don't have mothers. Some trolls racked their brains and tried to type a rebuttal, but the more they thought about it, the more they felt. Sister E was right. Many people betrayed them and agreed with Xiangyi's words. There were also some people who were stubborn and refused to listen no matter what. To this, Xiangyi's response was, sharpening the knife. The pig slaughtering knife had been sharpened by the whetstone. The girl tested the blade with her finger and calmly said, Fei, pick a pig. Hence, 2 lucky black pigs that were suffering from depression were chosen. They screamed as their limbs were tied up. Mo Feifei really knew how to butcher a pig. She used the knife to show which part of the body was the best to cut. From time to time, she would even discuss with Xiangyi. Naturally, the scene of the pig being slaughtered would not be broadcasted. However, right before the broadcast, Xiangyi smiled and said to the camera, "Be more obedient in the future." Troll. Suddenly, they shivered. They had a feeling that in the next second, the knife was going to come at them through the cable. This woman, Xiangyi, was too terrifying. Miraculously, the live stream became quiet. The loyal viewers of Two Under One Roof jokingly called this scene #Efei slaughters pigs to troll hashtag, leaving a strong mark in the history of variety shows. Chapter 789. Come, let's serve the food. Little Rabbit Farm was bathed in the glow of dusk, and it was bustling with activity. Wang Xuanli had already instructed his men to set up the tables and chairs, and the meal felt like a banquet. Dishes that made the audience drool were served one by one. Braised pork, fried crispy pork, boiled pork slices, stir-fried pork with green peppers. 2 depressed little black pigs made up for this sumptuous feast. There was even a grill set up at the side. Li Jianyu had used his power for personal gain and snatched the job of roasting pork belly. The fresh pork was sliced into thin slices and roasted over the fire for a while before the fat dripped off. A small brush was used to brush Xiangyi's secret barbecue sauce, and the aroma seemed to penetrate the screen and reach the audience's nostrils. Apart from that, the local specialties of Little Rabbit Farm were also indispensable, and they filled up the entire table. Xiangyi had prepared cold dishes, braised dishes, and other dishes in advance. Her ability to plan time was amazing, and she only needed to cook a few simple dishes. She went to the yard, served a glass of fruit wine, and thanked all the workers. Most of the workers on the farm were farmers from nearby and didn't earn much. After Xiangyi built the farm, not only could they work to earn a salary, they could also plant all kinds of excellent seeds that Little Rabbit Farm and the Research Institute had collaborated on, and their crop output had increased substantially. Now that their village had become a famous, high-tech farming demonstration base, they were extremely grateful to Xiangyi. The person in charge of Little Rabbit Farm, Wang Xuanli, scratched his head and smiled honestly. "Miss Xiang, we should be the ones thanking you. There's no need to say anything else, it's all in the wine." He raised his glass and downed it in one gulp. The other workers followed suit. After drinking, Xiangyi gave everyone a red packet. This was also a tradition of Little Rabbit Farm. Every year, there would be a year-end bonus. In the live stream, many viewers were envious. There's actually a high-temperature holiday, and they're even giving out red packets. What kind of godly boss is Sister E? Some workers even began to ask about Little Rabbit Farm's recruitment requirements. After she was done, Xiangyi returned to the main table. Mo Feifei was engrossed in her food, and it was as if she didn't recognize anyone, which shocked Zhou Yan. 5 bowls. Sister, this is yours. Zhou Yan gave Mo Feifei a thumbs up. Mo Feifei did not even raise her head. She still remembered what Brother Fei had told her to do. She mumbled, "It's not that I can eat, it's just that this bowl is too small." Everyone laughed, but they didn't have any ill intentions. Su Nindong had severe misophobia. While he was suffering, Xiangyi brought him a separate, boxed lunch. The lunchbox had 2 layers and a total of 8 dishes, exuding an enticing aura. Does this make you feel better? The feeling of someone caring about his feelings was it was pretty good. Su Rendong smiled gratefully. "Thank you, Sister E. I've troubled you." Although he was still a clean freak, it was still within his tolerance range. Not long after, the karaoke machine was delivered. Xiang Feng had finally arrived with Shiryu. Shiryu looked like he had nothing to live for. She did not know what he had been through in the past 2 days. He threw himself into Xiangyi's arms and sniffed pitifully. "I don't want to play anymore. I want to study." Hoo. Xiangyi stroked his head. "How about you write 10 pages of summer homework later?" "I want to write 20 pages. The audience, ? "Little kid, your idea is a little dangerous." Chapter 790. On the other side, Zhou Yan and Xiang Feng had already become familiar with each other. The two of them even sang classic songs such as "My Good Brother," "My Friend's Wine," and "Men Are Tired." It was worth mentioning that when the two of them put their arms around each other's shoulders, Su Rendong's expression was shockingly ugly. Nan's hand that was holding chopsticks trembled slightly because he had battled with the netizens for too long today. Si Chuanbai pushed his glasses up and snatched the chopsticks away from him, replacing them with a spoon. Nan reached out to take it, only to realize that Si Chuanbai had no intention of giving him the spoon. Instead, he scooped a spoonful of rice and brought it to his mouth. "Ha!" Nan was dumbfounded. "Mr. C. W. what are you doing?" You're fighting for Sister E, so I'm feeding you. What's wrong with that? Si Chuan Bai asked in a logical manner. Nan, well, it seemed to make sense. Forget it. He couldn't let the rice fly away when it was already in his mouth. Thus, Nan opened his mouth wide and began to eat the rice in big mouthfuls. In the live stream, all sorts of evil couples wished they could set off firecrackers. Everyone's head is clear. KSWL, today's sugar content has exceeded the limit. Sisters in front, you're screaming too loudly. Chicken coop warning. The karaoke concert was very successful, and almost everyone participated. Wang Xuanli and the others also sang 2 old songs, evoking many people's memories of that era. Nan sang out of tune thousands of miles away, causing the crowd to burst into laughter. Meanwhile, Mo Feifei dominated the audience with a good song and received the warmest applause. The crowd gradually dispersed, and in the end, only Xiangyi's table was left. Zhou Yan jeered, "Shering Di, come one, come one. I've never heard you sing before." Everyone thought that Shi Sui would politely decline, but he unexpectedly curled his lips and actually agreed. "I'm sorry for my incompetence, everyone." The comments in the live stream were like a sea, and everyone was extremely excited. They had lived long enough. They had actually waited until the day Shi Ingdi sang. After watching this for a long time, all sorts of miracles could indeed happen. Shi Sui's well-defined fingertips tapped on the screen of the karaoke machine a few times and selected a song. He sang a very old love song. In the wind of this summer night, it was gentle and affectionate. Even if there are thousands of songs in the future floating in the distance on my way, even if there are 1,000 stars to come brighter than tonight's moon, can't compare with the beauty of this night, doesn't make me appreciate it more. Because you sing with me tonight. The live stream was in an uproar. Brother, debut as a solo singer. I'll be the first to buy the album. Shi Ingdi's singing is amazing. Is there anything this man doesn't know? Xiangyi leaned on Mo Feifei's shoulder. Her eyes were curved and her dimples were shallow. This was an incomparably warm and beautiful night. Being slightly drunk was better than being drunk, and there was someone by her side. The person she liked was singing a beautiful love song. If time could stop at this moment, it must be. Just as this thought flashed through her mind, Xiangyi heard the frantic screams of the small system in her mind. "Yi Shen, it's over, that attack is coming again. Boo-hoo, Lingyi isn't here, I can't take it anymore, ah." It let out a blood-curdling scream, and then went silent. After the song ended, Shi Sui was about to hand the microphone to someone else when he suddenly sensed something and turned to look at Xiangyi. The girl's face was extremely pale. Her cherry lips moved as if she wanted to say something, but she slid weakly onto Mo Feifei and fell into a deep sleep. With a bang, the microphone fell to the ground, emitting an ear-piercing and sharp sound of electricity. Today, it was still Anwan who updated early. Trailer. There will be a small update tomorrow. Good night, please vote for me, Joe. Chapter 791. There was chaos at the scene. Mo Feifei screamed, "Ah, Sister E, what's wrong with you?" The girl who had fallen into her arms had already been held by a pair of large hands. She could vaguely feel that Shi Sui's hands were trembling. Shi Sui helped the girl lie flat on the ground and checked her arteries with his fingers. The girl's pulse was stable and everything was normal. She was like a sleeping beauty in a fairy tale, exquisite and beautiful, but she would never open her eyes. With Si Chuan Bai, the top manager, around, he immediately dialed 120. The program crew couldn't care less about the live stream and rushed to Xiangyi's side. The screen of the live stream turned black, but no one paid attention to it. In the comments section, the audience was burning with anxiety. Why did Sister E faint? I'm crying. Tutu, please don't let anything happen to her. Is she overworked? She cooked so many dishes on her own. At the scene, Xiang Feng's grandfather was a famous doctor of the generation. Although Xiang Feng didn't inherit his mantle, he knew the most basic first aid. After a set of measures, Xiangyi didn't react at all. How did this happen? Xiang Feng's forehead was full of sweat that was dripping down. He sounded like he was about to cry. Little Xiangyi, don't scare me. You're joking with me, right? Stop fooling around, let's stop fooling around, okay? Nan secretly wiped his eyes and asked Si Chuanbai anxiously, how much longer will the ambulance take? Get out of the way. Move back a little. Li Jianyu yelled. Everyone retreated, leaving only Xiang Feng and Shi Sui. Only then did everyone notice Shi Sui's appearance at this moment. In everyone's impression, Shi Sui had always been gentle, polite, and gentlemanly. No matter what he did, he would always be calm and collected, knowing when to advance or retreat. This was the first time everyone had seen Shi Sui in such a disheveled state. He was half kneeling on the ground. His clean shirt was stained with dust, and his glasses were missing. A few strands of his hair were scattered in front of his forehead. His deep eyes were scarlet, and his whole person exuded a sinister aura. But even though he was so paranoid and full of hostility, when he took off his shirt and covered Xiangyi with it, his actions were incredibly gentle. 3 days later. Today was the 3rd day since Xiangyi fell into a coma. It was also the 3rd day since Two Under One Roof stopped airing. The Xiang family had already put down all their work and came to the hospital. Xiang Yi's grandfather used all his connections to invite countless famous doctors, but all of their diagnoses were the same. Nothing serious. He just fell asleep. However, Xiang Yin was still worried. In just a few days, his hair had turned even whiter. Less than an hour later, he leaned on his cane and came to the single ward with Madame Xiang to see the bunny. Xiang Yi was still sleeping soundly on the hospital bed, but her face had lost a lot of weight. Anyone who saw her would feel sorry for her. Xiang Yin sighed and patted Shi Sui on the shoulder. Previously, he disliked Shi Sui, but now, his attitude was much more mellow. Go get some rest. Let Sangchen and the others take your place. Shi Sui said in a hoarse voice, It's okay, I'll stay with her for a while longer. After a pause, he said softly, I'm afraid that she'll be scared if she doesn't see me when she wakes up. Xiang Yin sighed again and didn't say anything in the end. Madame Xiang instructed Shi Sui and was not in the mood to say anything else. The two of them were about to return to the lounge, but they saw Xiang Yi's eyelashes fluttering as she slowly opened her eyes. At the same time, in a cramped room in the slums of the Star City, the capital of the Alliance in a certain interstellar plane, Xiangyi stayed up for 2 nights and finally obtained some information about this world. Chapter 792. To put it simply, she was about to transmigrate, but this mission was different from the previous one. Her soul had been swapped. Her current body was called Yi. She had no family and lived alone in the slums. In this world, technology was extremely advanced, but with it came a series of problems. For example, most humans had lost their ability to reproduce. Humans who had the ability to reproduce were often treated well. However, Yi did not, so she had been living at the bottom all these years. She was vain, too lazy to study, and unwilling to work. She relied on the monthly allowance and credit coins from the Alliance to survive. She dreamed that one day, she would suddenly have the ability to give birth and marry the captain or commander of a starship. Xiangyi learned all this from the photon computer she left behind. Calm down, I must calm down. Xiangyi took a deep breath and turned on the photon computer. She raised her hand and drew a mind map in the air, using special symbols to express the information she already knew. First, Yi should be the one who was chosen to transmigrate, but she was replaced by the one who transmigrated. Second, after the mission was completed, she returned to her original world and cut off her connection with Yi. Third, Yi once again swapped their souls. This time, the system did not appear, so it might have nothing to do with the so-called transmigration system, but Yi used a special method. Fourth, if she wanted to go home, she had to survive first. Xiangyi looked around the room. The small room was filled with clothes, bags, and sundries. There were all kinds of cosmetics on the dressing table, and there were hundreds of lipsticks. But the food at home was only enough for 2 more meals. Xiangyi checked her photon computer account. He had already spent this month's allowance. Her credit limit was red. When it turned purple, there would probably be robots coming to take her as a laborer. In these 2 days, other than crazily looking for information and cramming knowledge, Xiangyi was also thinking about how to make money. The fastest way to make money was to go out and fight. Wealth came from danger. Or, she could go to the unemployment center to see if there were any suitable jobs. She was not in a hurry to get rich, but if she went to work, she would probably die before she got any money. Therefore, what Xiangyi wanted now was only 2 words: safe. After some thought, she decided to go to the nearest DIY kitchen. In this world, cooking had already achieved artificial intelligence. Nowadays, only a few people would choose to cook for themselves. It had almost become a neglected hobby. The food made by the DIY kitchen could be eaten by oneself or sold to others. Some chefs who were short of money would choose this way to earn some extra money. Xiangyi controlled her spending and used the last of her credit limit to take a taxi to the DIY kitchen. She bought another hour of cooking time. There were many counters in the shop that were divided into small compartments. During cooking time, kitchen utensils and spices could be used at will. The ingredients needed to be purchased separately. In order to sell it, Xiangyi was going to make 2 of the most popular and cheapest dishes in Star City: tomato scrambled eggs and sandwiches. In addition, considering the possibility that she might not be able to sell them, she also prepared to steam a pot of buns. She noticed that there were still filming robots floating in the air that could be used for live streaming. It's really advanced. The corner of the 3-star chef's mouth twitched when he heard the girl's sigh. This kind of equipment that could only take pictures and not share taste and smell had long been eliminated. TSK, which barren planet did this country bumpkin come from? Chapter 793. Those who came from small towns were considered lowly. The young man, Andrew, pursed his lips and continued to cook. He was wearing a clean and tidy white chef's suit with an exquisite badge on his chest with 3 golden stars shining brightly. As a 3-star chef awarded by the Alliance, he earned quite a lot of money, but ever since he became obsessed with a certain virtual idol, his expenses had become too high. Paying for a single item, gifting gifts, and making thorough purchases were all standard operations. As long as he spent enough money, he could even hold hands and hug his idol. Of course, there were still some things he couldn't do. The reason Andrew was short of money recently was that he wanted to marry this virtual idol and had to pay a huge sum of money. However, Andrew had a decent job and he didn't want others to know that he was an otaku. Hence, he secretly came to the DIY kitchen to save money for his marriage. Beep! The sound of a live stream being started came from next door. Andrew smirked contemptuously. A country bumpkin is a country bumpkin. The entertainment industry in the Alliance was developed and live streams were popular throughout the galaxy. However, the competition was great and there was a lot of infighting. Not to mention that it was difficult for newcomers to make a name for themselves. Veteran hosts would be abandoned by their fans as soon as their live stream content became boring or of poor quality. Hence, hosts nowadays would pursue the use of the most high-tech equipment and live stream content to be as vivid and interesting as possible. Some would even write a script and follow it closely to the live stream. At present, the most popular live stream channels were virtual idols, games, battles, and so on. Food was a neglected channel. This DIY kitchen has such poor live stream equipment and it's a cold channel. Why would anyone watch it? Andrew thought it was ridiculous. At most, only 10 viewers would watch this country bumpkin's live stream. On the other hand, Xiangyi entered the information on her optical computer and opened the live stream channel. She casually named it Eat Well, and lowered her head to prepare the ingredients. The quality of the ingredients in this DIY kitchen was quite good. The tomatoes were bright red and the pulp was sweet. The eggs were plump and were about half the size of Xiangyi's palm. At this moment, people started streaming into the live stream channel. No way, are there live streams these days that don't share their sense of smell and taste? Wow, the host's hands are so beautiful. Is she a girl? Damn, she can beat eggs with one hand? 6666. That's amazing. On the hologram, the young girl's fingers were slender and nimble. Her single-handed movements were like moving clouds and flowing water. In this era where most people didn't know how to cook, it was indeed amazing. After that, Xiangyi added seasoning into the egg. She didn't use any tools like a balance or 2 spoonfuls. She just added the seasoning directly. Then, she made a cross-cut on the tomato and added it to the hot water to boil it for a moment. After scooping it up, she easily peeled off the tomato skin. Amazing! Is the host a star chef? How can he add such a precise dosage? Oh my God! Was the streamer performing magic? This is too amazing. Could it be that she's a star chef? There were only a few people in the live stream, so they invited their friends to watch together. The new viewers couldn't help but share the link on social media. By the time Xiangyi started cooking, the number of viewers in the live broadcast room had already exceeded 100. Xiangyi suddenly remembered that Yan Kai had taught her to interact more with the audience when she was selling goods in the live stream room. So she raised a small face and said gently, "Good morning, I'll start cooking now." Chapter 794. The girl's voice was clean and clear, and she spoke at an unhurried pace, which somehow made people feel very comfortable. Some of the viewers who had just clicked in and were about to leave subconsciously paused their fingers. Since I have nothing to do, why don't I watch for a while longer? Unknowingly, these people became the retention rate, and it could be said that almost all the new viewers stayed behind. At this moment, the temperature of the oil was about right, and Xiangyi poured the egg mixture into the pot while explaining. The oil has to be heated up so that the egg mixture will expand quickly when it's hot, and the scrambled eggs won't stick to the pan. The 3-star chef next door, Andrew, widened his emerald-like eyes when he heard this. How can this country bumpkin know a technique that only 2-star chefs know? The chefs in the alliance were now divided into 1-star to 5-star chefs, with 5-star being the highest level and symbolizing the highest honor that the alliance had bestowed upon chefs. Could it be that this country bumpkin is a 2-star chef? So what if she's a 2-star chef? I'm a 3-star chef. Andrew maintained his sense of superiority as always and continued to work hard to save money for his wife. Suddenly, a rich aroma wafted to the tip of his nose. The sweet and sour taste of the tomatoes and the delicate fragrance of the eggs blended together to create a harmonious and wonderful aroma. This seasoning, Andrew couldn't help but sniff a few more times. In the live stream, the viewers couldn't smell anything due to the equipment issues. However, they could see the eggs and tomatoes being stir-fried in the pot up close, and the juices of the tomatoes splashed out, gradually forming a red broth. They could also hear the sizzling sound of the eggs hitting the hot oil, as well as the sound of the ingredients being tossed around in the pot. Oh my God! She actually knows how to toss the ladle. This is a technique that only 3-star chefs know. This is the first time I'm actually drooling without sharing my sense of smell and taste. Host, how much is this pot of scrambled eggs with tomatoes? I'll buy it. At this moment, a gift notification suddenly popped up in the live stream. Yun Zhongyue has sent Tutu a luxurious airship. For a moment, the live stream was in an uproar. The value of a luxurious airship was almost equivalent to hunting down a B-grade insect beast, which was indeed a lot for a new host. Some viewers recognized Yun Zhongyue and exclaimed in shock, "Isn't she a famous rich fan of the Alliance livestream?" Previously, he gave a combat blogger a few 100,000 star coins as a reward. Everyone clicked their tongues in wonder and lamented that this newbie streamer's luck was too good. A rainbow-colored bullet screen popped up in the comment section. It was Yun Zhongyue. I'll take care of all the dishes you cook today. Xiangyi was so immersed in cooking that she didn't have time to read the comments in the live stream room. There's a little trick to scrambled eggs with tomatoes. You can add salt at the end. That way, when you start eating, the tomatoes will release the fresh gravy completely, and the taste will be even better. Also, if you like something sweet, you can add a little sugar to neutralize the sour taste of the tomatoes. If you like sweet and sour food, you can add some ketchup. The girl turned off the fire and scooped out 3 plates of scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Every plate was brightly colored and appetizing. Xiangyi was about to check if there were any viewers watching the live stream when a big hairy head suddenly popped in from next door. Damn it, I really can't stand this temptation. Earth. Cough, miss. Can I buy a plate of your tomato scrambled eggs? Chapter 795. Xiangyi froze for a moment before nodding. Sure. After all, her original intention was to sell the food she cooked. Then, how about 200 star coins per plate? Andrew gave a moderate price. The restaurant he was currently in had an elegant environment and top-notch ingredients. The price of a dish on the menu was about the same. However, the viewers in the live stream were anxious. Only 200? Who are you trying to scam? Host, don't agree. Sell it to Yun Zhongyue for at least 10 times the price. Please, host, look at the comments. Yun Zhongyue is still waiting for your reply. It's my first time watching a live stream, I'm so worried. Xiangyi, on the other hand, felt that 200 star coins was quite a lot. She had spent more than 30 star coins on the hovercar, renting the cooking station, and buying the ingredients. If she sold it, she would make a net profit of more than 100 star coins. The two scanned their optical computers and reached a deal. When Xiangyi saw the extra balance in her account, the pressure in her heart lessened slightly. Andrew went back to his cubicle to get a spoon and said in a tone as if he was a senior guiding a junior, "You're live streaming? Then you can see if anyone in the live stream wants to buy it. As long as the price is right, you can get the robot to pack it up and send it to them on the interstellar train." Xiangyi said sincerely, "Thank you." Looking into the girl's clear and bright eyes, Andrew's heartbeat suddenly accelerated. He lowered his head to hide it and scooped up a spoonful of scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Well, there was water in the eggs, so they tasted very tender. Well, the tomatoes were peeled and cut into small pieces, so the pulp was almost all melted and the texture was very smooth. Well, that's it. What the hell? Ah, how can there be such delicious scrambled eggs with tomatoes in this world? Andrew was shocked. He went from tasting it in small bites at the beginning to gobble it down in large bites. At first, he could still analyze how Xiangyi had made this dish, but it didn't take long for his rationality to be completely taken over by the delicious taste. The delicious taste seemed to have directly stimulated the deepest part of his soul. Every chewing and swallowing was the most enjoyable thing in the world. Xiangyi also looked at the live stream and was surprised to find that there were already thousands of people watching it. Her page directly showed the amount of gifts she had received. Converted into numbers, it was actually a few thousand star coins. Xiangyi was a little surprised. She had also seen Yun Zhongyue's bullet screen. The tycoon's font was colorful and dazzling, and he was hanging in the middle of the live stream. Do you want to buy it? Then, 200 star coins for one set. Is it okay if you don't include shipping? Xiangyi asked gently. The main reason was that she wasn't sure how much the robot would cost. If it was too expensive, she wouldn't be able to afford it in her current situation. Yun Zhongyue, Yun Zhongyue, 200? Who are you looking down on? How about 2,000? I'll pay for the shipping fee. Xiangyi thought for a moment. Do you want to have lunch? Shall I pair it with some other dishes? Yun Zhongyue. All right. After that, he gave Xiangyi a luxurious airship. There was no other reason. He just felt that Xiangyi's words were very pleasant to hear. She was neither servile nor overbearing, nor pretentious. In this era where people were indifferent to each other, she gave people a very mysterious impression. Gentle. Besides, this little bit of money was nothing to her anyway. Big Brother made so much money, so someone should spend it for him. Xiangyi used the remaining cooking time to braise a pot of mixed grain rice, a dozen sandwiches, and 2 stir-fried dishes, 1 meat and 1 vegetable. Chapter 796. Xiangyi didn't know how many people were in Yun Zhongyue's family, so she just put in some mixed grain rice, stir-fried vegetables, and 6 sandwiches for the family of 4. Thanks to the advanced food storage box in this plane, All the food was still fresh when it was delivered to Yoon Jong-yue. Andrew didn't even bother to save up for his wife's money. He just stayed by Xiangyi's side. Every time she made a dish, he would be the first to buy it shamelessly. In the live stream, besides Yoon Jong-yue, there were other viewers who offered to buy the food. Xiangyi sold the rest of the food at the same price. After the cooking time was over, a robot came to clean up. Xiangyi also turned off the live stream. Andrew noticed that the girl's live stream had a total of 20,000 viewers. Thinking back to his first live stream, the number of viewers was only in the single digits. Sometimes, the gap between people was even bigger than the gap between humans and insectoids. He asked curiously, "The numbers are good. Aren't you going to continue live streaming? If you continue, you'll probably make 10,000 star coins today." 10,000 star coins wasn't much in the rich district, but in the slums, it was a high-paying job that was envied by many. "Xiangyi, I have more important things to do." She shoved 2 egg and ham salad sandwiches into Andrew's hands. "Here, these are for you. You seem to like them." "Huh? Then I'll give you star coins." Xiangyi smiled. "No need. Consider this a thank you gift." Andrew was very naggy. He couldn't stop talking while watching her live stream. However, he taught Xiangyi a lot of knowledge and helped her sell the food. Xiangyi was quite grateful to him. The girl walked out of the DIY kitchen. Andrew scratched his head and strode after her. "Well, I'm Andrew. Can we add each other as friends on the photon computer?" Xiangyi didn't want to have too much contact with people in this plane, but when she met Andrew's sincere eyes, she thought about it and added him. It was just that he was using his newly registered account. Andrew was very happy to add her as a friend. "You can ask me any questions." Xiangyi thanked him and left in the hover car. On the way back, the optical computer kept flashing non-stop. She opened it, and it was actually full of messages from Andrew. He was undoubtedly a chatterbox. Xiangyi didn't reply. Instead, she checked her balance. The star coins sold to Andrew were directly transferred to his account. However, the star coins sold to the viewers in the live streaming room had to be withdrawn by the platform. Nowadays, the Alliance had formed a monopoly in the live streaming industry. Other than a few big streamers who had the right to speak and had a higher share of the profits, the smaller streamers basically had a 30-70 ratio. A new streamer like Xiangyi was even more miserable. That was to say, out of 10,000 star coins, she could only get 2,000. Moreover, she had to pay several kinds of taxes to the Alliance. In the end, her share of gifts from the live broadcast room would only be a few thousand star coins. Xiangyi sighed and set aside a portion of the star coins for daily expenses and used the rest to pay off Yi's debt. If she didn't return the money, the interest would increase. She didn't want to be arrested before she could think of a way to go home. The girl leaned her forehead against the window and stared blankly at the city filled with lights and shadows. Brother, uncle, grandparents, and Shui, were they okay now? What Xiangyi didn't know was that her live stream today had gone viral on the Star Domain network. Chapter 797. At first, it was a video review by a viewer that went viral. "I watched a new streamer's live stream today. This is the dinner set I bought from her." The reviewer was a chubby man who was obviously a food enthusiast. His fans all called him Fat Bro. Fat Bro's live stream equipment was the most advanced at the moment. After activating vision, hearing, smell, taste, touch, and other senses, the audience felt as if they were there. They could feel the temperature of the food, and they could also pick it up and taste it. Although it was just virtual data, it allowed viewers to taste different delicacies for free. Hence, it was highly sought after by civilians and dieters. Fat Bro first introduced the content. Scrambled eggs with tomatoes, fried pork with apricot abalone and mushrooms, vinegar baby cabbage, a sandwich, a 5-grain rice, and a complimentary seaweed egg soup. The total cost is $999 star dollars. A large number of people immediately complained in the real-time bullet screen. $999 star dollars for a meal? Why doesn't that streamer go rob people with a gunny sack? Fat bro, you've been scammed. What kind of black-hearted streamer is she? She charged $999 for this. The last time I ate at a restaurant with a 3-star chef, it was probably the same price. There's also the bonus of the environment and service. I personally feel that it's not worth it to order takeout at such an expensive price. Fat bro opened the food storage box to see that the food inside was still steaming hot, as if it had just been scooped out of a pot. There was a moment of silence. All the viewers who had activated the shared 5 senses were captivated by this wonderful aroma. They couldn't wait to take a bite, and the taste instantly invaded everyone's taste buds. The scrambled eggs with tomatoes were sweet and sour, the fried pork with apricot abalone and mushrooms were salty and fragrant, the vinegar baby cabbage was sour and spicy, the sandwiches were rich in texture, and the egg soup was refreshing. Fat bro froze on the spot and stared at the table of dishes in disbelief. They clearly looked like ordinary home-cooked dishes, but the taste. How could they be so delicious? He swore that he had never eaten such delicious food. The fans' comments immediately changed. F***CK. This money is so well spent. I've already prepared the star dollars. When is the streamer going to rob me with a gunny sack? Fat bro, eat slower. We won't have anything to eat after you finish eating. This meal was finished by Brother Fatty like a whirlwind. He said to the camera in a serious manner, I've also eaten the dishes of several 5-star chefs in the Alliance. To be honest, they are very exquisite, very powerful, and very delicious. But the dishes made by this streamer really have a different feeling. If I must describe it, it would probably be warm, beautiful, blissful, and complete. The corners of his eyes were slightly moist. After being reminded by his fans, he wiped his eyes with a tissue. It's so delicious I'm crying. I'm not lying to you. This review video went viral first. Everyone traced it back to Xiangyi's live stream and watched the 1-hour replay. At first, everyone thought that no matter how delicious the food was, it would be tiring to watch him cook for an hour. And then, what? Why did he finish it again? No, one more time. How did the video loop function work? The click-through rate of the replay increased steadily, reaching a terrifying number. And because of this, Xiangyi became famous. Due to the phenomenal popularity of Xiangyi, the higher-ups of Alliance Broadcasting began to consider whether or not to sign her. On the other side, Nanqing, private hospital. Chapter 798. It was dusk again. It was very similar to the twilight 2 days ago. The young girl on the hospital bed was slender and weak. Her face was pale and her curly eyelashes were fluttering, casting a faint shadow on her face. Good that you're awake, good that you're awake. Xiang Yin burst into tears as he and Madame Xiang each grabbed one of Xiangyi's hands. The young girl was very obedient and she stole a glance at the tall figures beside the hospital bed with fear in the depths of her eyes. She was She had already woken up a few hours ago and the first person she saw when she opened her eyes was She Sui. He was the man she wanted to get back when she was forced to leave Xiangyi's body. Their gazes met. How should I describe the look in his eyes? His gaze was ruthless, sharp, and malicious. Yi felt a lingering fear at the thought of it. She knew that he must have seen through her. The shock and the weakness from the soul swap made her pass out again. She only woke up a few minutes ago. When she woke up, she was accompanied by the annoying old man and woman, as well as a few fools who had been fooled by her in the past year. However, I'm finally back. The corners of Yi's lips curled up slightly. Of course, she knew that the thief in the slums had a better life than the rich and beautiful girl. Why should I be born in the slums? On the other hand, Xiangyi enjoyed a luxurious environment and the love of her family. She didn't have to worry about making a living and lived a life like the little princess. Xiangyi had already enjoyed a lot. Now, it was her turn. Having learned her lesson from the previous soul swap, Yi chose to put on a pretense this time. She pretended to be pretentious and said, "Grandpa, Grandma, I've made you guys worry. I'm fine now." Hearing her words, Xiang Yin and Madame Xiang frowned in unison. She clearly had the same face, the same voice, and the same person, but why did she give them an unfamiliar feeling? However, their doubts were soon replaced by worry. Xiang Yin said in an amiable tone as if he was coaxing a child, "Little bunny, Grandpa will cook for you. I'll make your favorite seafood porridge, okay?" "Thank you, Grandpa. You're the best." Xiang Yin usually liked to hear his granddaughter call him Grandpa sweetly, but for some reason, he didn't feel any emotions at this moment. He didn't think too much about it and got up to cook for Xiangyi. Madame Xiang followed him, but when she reached the door, she turned back and gave Xiangyi a deep look. After Madame Xiang left, Xiangli found an excuse to send Xiang Feng away. It wasn't that she didn't trust little uncle, but she was worried that his IQ wouldn't allow him to understand such a complicated matter. His pulse quickened. She clutched the blanket uneasily and forced a smile. "Big brother, second brother, third brother, fourth brother." Third brother Xiang Qi said angrily, "Shut up. Why didn't you think before you called us that? Do you even deserve to call us brothers?" Everyone in the Xiang clan, including Shi Sui, already knew that the Xiangyi in front of them wasn't the real Xiangyi. Yi said with an aggrieved expression, "Brother, if you don't like it, I won't call you that." Xiangli touched his chin and said thoughtfully, "Tisk, you've evolved. This time, you've actually learned to pretend to be obedient and pitiful." Yi was speechless. Why did he use the word evolved? Only low-level creatures like insects need to evolve. It's as if he's deliberately humiliating me. Xiangli guessed what she was thinking and chuckled, but his smile was cold and unfeeling. Xiang Yu was much more straightforward. The hot-tempered esports player immediately lashed out. "Don't call me brother, it's disgusting." Even the way she poured the water was noble, proud, and seductive. The cup was full. Yi said in a coquettish voice, "Thank you, little brother." She used the excuse of getting the water as an excuse to hook Shi Sui's sleeve through her thin shirt. The next second, caught off guard, her neck was strangled by a pair of large hands. Yi's eyes were filled with horror. The man's casual voice sounded in her ears. "The water is for her. Even if Xiangyi wouldn't be back for a while." Shi Sui gradually increased his strength. His expression was languid and lazy. His peach blossom eyes were affectionate when they looked up, but they were incomparably cold when they looked down. He smiled slightly, paranoid and sick. "If you don't want to die, you'd better tell me everything you know, okay?" Chapter 800. Breathing became more and more difficult. The pain became more and more clear. Yi tried to pry off Shi Sui's hand, but found that the difference in strength was too great. She couldn't move him at all. She never thought that she would fall into such a desperate situation on the first day after her soul was swapped. In a flash, Yi thought it through. Although she wasn't smart, she grew up in the slums, so she was very observant. No, this man couldn't really kill her. Those idiots from the Xiang family wouldn't just sit by and watch. Her idea was simple and straightforward, and it did work. Sure enough, the second before she suffocated, Shi Sui let go of her. She made the right bet. Yi felt like she had just been reborn. She gasped for breath, mixed with violent coughs. When she finally calmed down, she looked at Shi Sui with tears in her eyes, trying to arouse his sympathy. However, the man still looked noble and languid. He slowly buttoned up his shirt and spoke in a gentle tone, as if he was chatting about daily life. "You guessed right. This body is hers. I won't hurt it at all." Yi's little secret joy disappeared in the blink of an eye. Her heart skipped a beat. She suddenly panicked. "I will lock you in a sealed space. There won't be any other living creatures except you. There won't be any communication. There won't be any light, no sound, and you won't be able to feel the passage of time." His low and hoarse voice was very seductive, but he said the most paranoid and morbid words. Yi's pupils dilated. She held her breath. The most frightening thing was not death. It was living a life worse than death. She could imagine that if she was locked in there, she would go crazy. I don't want to. E couldn't hold it in. She tried to get out of bed and find those idiots from the Seong family. At least they wouldn't do this to her. Shi Sui easily pushed her back onto the bed. He used so much strength that her shoulders almost shattered. He lifted the girl's delicate chin and gently rubbed it with his fingers. E couldn't help but tremble. It shouldn't be difficult to convince Sangchun and the others. He was so gentle, but he was so cruel. The oppressive atmosphere, the quiet environment, and the fear of the unknown overwhelmed E. She broke down and screamed, I'll talk. An hour later. E was sobbing. The private room was surrounded by bodyguards, and no one paid any attention to her. What she did not know was that the moment Sangchun left the ward, Shi Sui had already dialed Sangchun's number. Sangchun and his brothers had overheard the entire conversation between her and Shi Sui. In the VIP room, Xiangli went back and forth, playing a few key points of the recording. The first time I swapped souls was because I received a fast transmigration mission. In my world, there were fast transmigrators who shared their experiences. I don't want to transmigrate so quickly. I've heard that I'll have to endure hardships, suffer all kinds of torture, experience scheming against each other, be separated by life and death, and battle and war. I consulted that fast transmigrator and he told me a solution. I just need to match a soul with a high similarity and let someone else take my place. The second time I swapped souls was because I downloaded a virus from the Transmigrator forum in the alternate world and cracked the program to match souls. This way, I can still swap souls without a fast transmigration mission, but the program has already self-destructed. She can't come back. At least, it's impossible with the technology of this world, unless a miracle happens. Chapter 801. Xiang Yu clenched his fists tightly. Xiang Qi was so angry that he kicked over the trash can. F*CK, she doesn't want to suffer, so she's making my sister suffer. I'm giving her face. I'll beat her to death. Xiang Li glanced at him. Calm down, the body belongs to Tutu. Xiang Qi immediately quieted down. Xiang Li concluded, according to the known information, the soul swap is one way at present. In other words, we can't do it here. We can only wait for Tutu to find a way to do it on the other side. Of course, we can't not believe E's words completely. Next, we'll continue to sound her out and see if there are any other clues. Also, I'll find a hypnotist to see if there are any other answers after hypnosis. We'll do as you say. Sangchun rubbed his forehead and looked at Shi Sui. What do you think? Shi Sui's aura was gone and he looked a little dejected. His slender and fair fingers rested between his eyebrows and his voice was extremely hoarse. Bring Xiao Naofu here. Interstellar world. Xiangyi carefully made a series of plans for herself, including short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. She even prepared for the worst. After barely sleeping for 3 hours, Xiangyi sat up with a blanket draped over her body and continued to write programs on the optical computer. For some reason, E's browsing history was all gone. The optical computer was clean as if it had never been used. Fortunately, Xiangyi had traveled through a similar dimension before and knew a little about programming. She speculated that the data in E's optical computer was probably formatted by a self-destruct program. She tried to write a program to restore the data. Perhaps there was a way to go home. A few hours later, the initial version of the recovery program was born. Xiangyi tried to run it. Unfortunately, there was probably a problem with the program and the optical computer directly froze. Fortunately, after rebooting, a small part of the data was restored. After opening it, it was all garbled. Xiangyi had a headache. She searched and came up with a conclusion. To put it simply, everyone in the Alliance was using smartphones, but she was still using a mobile phone. After checking the price of the latest version of the optical computer, Xiangyi sighed. It seemed that he still had to think of a way to earn money. Star City, in a certain luxurious villa. The nouveau riche fan who appeared in Xiangyi's live stream Yoon Jong-yue, whose real name was Fu Yunyue, looked at her brother with hidden bitterness. Galaxy Fleet Commander. The youngest champion of the Mecha Galaxy Tournament. He was the strongest person in the alliance. Fu Zichuan. The man wore glasses and was casually flipping through a paper newspaper. Fu Yunyue complained softly, so old-fashioned. Who still uses paper things these days? Fu Zichuan was unmoved. Fu Yunyue said aggrievedly, "You ate all the food I bought. That's enough for 4 people. You didn't even leave a bite for me." The story started with the express delivery she received at noon. It was a meal personally cooked by a streamer called Tutu. As someone who needed a sense of ceremony when eating, she went upstairs to change into a beautiful dress and even permed her hair. She was prepared to take photos from many angles without any blind spots. In the end, when she went downstairs, the food was already gone. Her brother had eaten it. It was all eaten. Fu Zichuan was expressionless. "I've already apologized to you." "Humph. I won't forgive you. Unless you can invite that Tutu to be our chef." Before she finished speaking, Fu Zichuan's communicator rang. He glanced at it and frowned. "Are you talking about her? She was just wanted." Chapter 802. Xiangyi was contemplating whether to continue with her DIY kitchen or purchase a set of kitchen utensils for her live stream when the doorbell rang. She opened the door. In the dark and narrow corridor, 2 tall robots were standing there, coldly showing her the information of the Guardian of Order, as well as a wanted poster. "Miss, you are under arrest." "Huh?" Half an hour later, at the Guardian of Order. Xiangyi looked at the small window of the detention room, feeling very complicated. The notification from the robots just now echoed in her mind. Name, E. Age, 20. Crime, theft. That's right, E was a thief. And a repeat offender. This wasn't the first time she had entered the Guardian of Order. However, the amount of money she was involved in was relatively small. The most she had been involved in was 2 months. This time, she was involved in the large-scale optical computer theft case 0609. The estimated sentence was 10 years. The girl closed her eyes and told herself to stay calm. Even if she was really locked up for 10 years, she had to live well. Because there were still people waiting for her at home. Suddenly, a few figures walked over from outside the alloy fence. They were humans. Xiangyi blinked and looked at them in confusion. "Is it her?" "It should be, she looks quite similar." "What are you talking about? Who is she?" "You don't even know?" That live stream that suddenly became popular on the interplanetary network. Her cooking video has more than 1 billion views. Xiangyi understood. These people were treating her like a monkey in the zoo? They first discussed Xiangyi's popularity on the interplanetary network, then looked at her crime and couldn't help but sigh. It's a pity, she's just an accessory. She's quite pretty, and she's so popular. It's a pity to be locked up for 10 years. I wonder if she signed a contract with the Alliance. Maybe someone is willing to pay a sky-high deposit and bail her out. But, how is that possible? Sigh. Xiangyi. Gossip was indeed human nature, even in the interplanetary era. Suddenly, their communicators rang. After reading the content, they looked at each other in dismay. "Oh, little girl, there really is someone who bailed you out." Soon, the door of the detention room opened. Xiangyi followed the gossip team outside to handle the procedures. When they were signing the papers, it was as if they were performing a crosstalk. "Your luck is too good. The one who bailed you out is the boss of the 0609 large-scale optical computer theft case. He happens to be your fan, and he even bought your food. Speaking of which, you have to thank him for your popularity. He was the one who posted the review video first. Alright, his name is Fat Bro. You have to thank him properly later." Xiangyi listened obediently and did not say anything. After the procedures were completed, the gossip team returned Xiangyi's optical computer and personal belongings. Someone even gave her 2 candies. He didn't know why, but although this little girl was a habitual thief in the slums, he just couldn't hate her. "Thank you," Xiangyi thanked him and stepped out of the Order Guardian. Behind him, the gossip team received another piece of news. What? The Alliance also bailed her out? There's actually a big shot who bailed her out. TSK. Fu family. Good fellow, let's go for a drink after work today and have a good chat. Eh. Chapter 803. It was already late at night. This city seemed to have never needed to worry about energy. Bright lights were everywhere, as if they had formed a dense net of light. There was wind blowing, but it didn't feel cold. The temperature of the city was artificially adjusted to a constant temperature. When Xiangyi went out, a fat man came up to her. Xiangyi took 2 seconds to react before she realized that he was calling her. She remained cautious and nodded. "Or should I call you Tutu?" The fat man laughed. "I didn't expect us to have such fate. The world is really small." Xiangyi thanked him politely. "Thank you for bailing me out." The fat man raised his eyebrows, feeling that the money wasn't wasted. This little girl wasn't incurable. When she spoke, she was gentle and polite. When she listened, she quietly looked into the other person's eyes. Her good points overshadowed her bad points. So much so that the fat man felt that her stealing was pardonable. After all, it wasn't easy for a girl in the slums to survive. He gestured towards Xiangyi. "Let's go to my hover car first." Xiangyi didn't move. The fat man laughed. "Still on guard against me? Fine. It's good for a girl to be cautious. Then I'll make it short. I watched your live broadcast and tasted your food. It's not bad. I won't pursue the matter of you stealing and bailing me out. How about it? Can you trust me now?" Condition. A clear and calm voice. There was a hint of admiration in the fat brother's eyes. "It's very simple. You can work for me as my chef, or you can use your culinary skills to promote my restaurant. In short, you just have to create something of equal value." Xiangyi understood. "Okay, I understand. Then starting tomorrow morning, send me food." The fat man casually threw her a transparent chip. "If you want to buy ingredients, just use it to pay. Don't save." The optical computer flashed. He didn't avoid Xiangyi and directly connected to the video call. After chatting with the person on the other side for a while, his face turned sour. His optical computer store was the largest in Star City, but recently, a competitor had appeared. That competitor had gone on a crazy expansion model, snatching away a lot of his business. Tomorrow, a competitor was going to open a new store next to his store. Moreover, they had released news that a certain popular model of optical computer would be given an unprecedented discount. As soon as the news was released, there were already people lining up overnight. Sigh. How can I attract people over? Do I have to fight a price war too? The more Fat Bro thought about it, the more worried he became. Once the price war started, it would be a fight to the death. Both sides would suffer. The more he sold, the more he would lose. If it's to attract people, perhaps I can give it a try. The girl's clear and steady voice sounded in his ears. Brother Fatty was stunned. What can you do? Live stream cooking. His eyes lit up. With her influence on the interplanetary network, it might actually work. Xiangyi replied with 2 words. It smells good. Fat Bro. Oh? Can you be more specific? Xiangyi thought for a moment. For example, your impression of scrambled eggs with tomatoes is that it's sweet and sour. When the sweet and sour smell expands, you'll associate it with food. The most direct feeling is, I know. With rice. Brother Fatty rushed to answer. That's pretty much it. If you use the aroma of food to attract people, it might have the effect of attracting them. Chapter 804. Xiangyi briefly explained her thoughts. Fat Bro slapped his thigh and got someone to publicize it on the spot. Hence, on the Star Sector network, anyone who had followed Fat Bro's shop or bought goods received a push message. Fat Bro Technology V. There will be a small event tomorrow. Anyone who enters the shop will get a free snack. P.S. It's comparable to the delicacies made by a 3-star chef. Regarding this, the netizens' reaction was, "Just this? Come on, Feynman's shop is offering a full discount. A genuine discount can save you star coins. Isn't it much better than your snacks? Besides, if it's comparable to a 3-star chef, it probably means that this chef hasn't even obtained a 3-star honor badge. How much would the snacks made by such a chef be worth? Only a fool would choose Fat Bro's shop." However, there were also people who found a way to take advantage of it. They could first get free snacks from Fat Bro's shop, then go to Feynman's shop to buy an optical computer. They could enjoy the snacks and the discount. Wouldn't that be perfect? Once this point of view was posted, it received many likes from the netizens. "Look, this is too quick-witted. We'll do this tomorrow." The next morning, as the boss of the new shop, Feynman specially invited celebrities and dignitaries to cut the ribbon. In order to sell the snacks that Fat Bro mentioned, he specially invited a 4-star chef to make desserts on the spot and give them away for free. Although the cost of hiring this 4-star chef exceeded his budget, as long as he could attract more customers, it was only a matter of time before he earned back the money. Feynman instructed the staff to adjust the position of the flower baskets at the entrance and glanced at Fat Bro's shop next door. He saw a hover car stop at the entrance. A transport robot went up and down, moving the things down from the car. Feynman almost laughed out loud. "Oh my God, Fat Bro is too old-fashioned." Surprisingly, they were using charcoal and a huge iron pot. The iron pot was so heavy that the robot's mechanical arm was bent. However, it was tightly covered and no one knew what was inside. This kind of primitive kitchen utensil was only used on the most barren planets and the most backward civilizations. His staff couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Isn't this the kind of iron pot that's placed in museums? Is Brother Fatty at his wit's end? To actually use such outdated kitchen utensils? Which chef would use this kind of charcoal and iron pot? How many generations have passed since the invention of thermal energy? Can you really cook with this kind of charcoal?" Feynman said hypocritically, all right. Go and clean up. The ribbon-cutting ceremony is about to begin." A few minutes later, the MC said, "It's time, Mr. Feynman." "Just follow the established procedure," Feynman reminded. "Turn on the live stream." "Understood." The MC turned his head, and the moment the live broadcast started, his face was full of smiles. "Today is the opening of Mr. Feynman's 66th branch. Thank you, dear guests and friends, for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come to our site." Gulp. The loud swallowing sound spread to the ears of every spectator in the live broadcast room in an instant. Feynman's expression changed slightly. What kind of crappy MC was this? He was too unprofessional. Ugh, damn it, what was this smell? It was as if a spell had been cast on the crowd as they all turned to look in the same direction. Even the livestream camera ball automatically changed its lens and shot from a different angle. What came into view was the side profile of a peerlessly beautiful face. Chapter 805. The charcoal fire had been lit at some point, and since it was smokeless charcoal, it wasn't choking at all. The girl's slender and fair fingers unhurriedly lifted the lid of the large iron pot. The iron pot conducted heat quickly and had a large surface area. She quickly heated up the ingredients inside, and by this time, it was already bubbling. That alluring aroma was coming from the pot. Under everyone's watchful eyes, the girl fished out a piece of beef from the pot and placed it on the shore. She then sliced the beef into thin slices and placed them on a small plate. She then sprinkled chopped green onions on top and decorated it slightly. The beef had been braised just right, and its color was a beautiful brownish yellow. The grease had a layer of luster, and under the morning sun, it was steaming hot, drawing out everyone's gluttony. Gulp. The sound of saliva being swallowed could be heard one after another. The viewers in the live stream were going crazy. Feynman naturally used the best live stream camera ball for the live stream. Not only could it share the viewers' 5 senses, but the data was also the most realistic in the market. There were already viewers who couldn't wait to pick up a piece of braised beef and stuff it into their mouths. The rich fragrance of the sauce spread on the tip of their tongues, and the texture was chewy. The freshly scooped beef was still wrapped in some gravy, and as they chewed, the taste was even more wonderful. Oh my God, this is too delicious. I strongly condemn Fat Brother for his false promotion. How is this a 3-star chef? He's a 5-star chef. Dear friends, I suggest you go straight to that iron pot to get the food. There's still a lot of food. It's just a little hot, remember to blow on it. Ha, did you just find out? I've already eaten it a long time ago. A mouthful of braised food and a sip of happy water. The viewers in the live stream had at least tasted the virtual data. Only then did the people at the scene truly feel the torture. This feeling of seeing but not being able to eat was really too torturous. The passerby who was about to enter Feynman's shop hesitated for a moment before stepping forward and asking, "Excuse me, do we get a free snack as long as we enter the shop?" Xiangyi nodded and asked, "Yes, what do you want to eat?" "There's beef, duck neck, duck wings, lotus root, dried tofu, mushrooms." The girl listed a series of dishes, and the passerby almost drooled. "Beef then." He made a difficult choice. Xiangyi handed the small plate to him. "Try it and see if it's to your liking. If you like spicy food, you can pour some chili oil on it." There were several large wooden bowls on the table. In addition to chili oil, there were also ginger vinegar, soy sauce, sesame oil, sesame paste, peanut butter, and other condiments. The passerby wanted to give it a try. He scooped up a spoonful of chili oil and poured it over a piece of beef. That chili oil was bright red and fragrant. Together with the beef slices, it looked a lot better, and it was even better when it was in his mouth. The sensations of numbness, spiciness, and fragrance deeply stimulated his taste buds and then transmitted to his central nervous system. His mind was blank, and there was only one feeling: so delicious. He only needed one mouthful to fall into the enemy's hands. The passerby couldn't wait any longer. If I buy an optical computer, can I have a portion of each ingredient?" "Platter? Sure." Xiangyi agreed, not because she was generous. In fact, the ingredients themselves did not cost much. Besides, she and Fat Bro had already considered this situation yesterday. The passerby was overjoyed, as if he had gotten a huge bargain. Without even looking at Feynman's new shop, he shouted, "Give me a platter. Ahem. Give me an X721 optical computer." Chapter 806. Feynman was speechless. "Hey, wake up, our shop is offering discounts. An optical computer can save at least a few $100. How much can a snack be worth?" However, with the first person taking the lead, countless people flocked to the stall. "I want a serving of duck wings." "Miss, I want lotus roots." "Give me an optical computer." "Ah, no, a platter." Xiangyi's snack stall was soon surrounded. Fortunately, she had already considered the problem of the flow of customers and calmly let a few housework robots take over while she quietly retreated to the side to continue braising. Fat Bro stood at the door, smiling so widely that his eyes narrowed into slits. In just a few minutes, his shop had already sold more than a dozen optical computers. This was even when Feynman's new shop was about to open and there was a super low discount. On the other side, Feynman's face was even darker than the bottom of the pot of braising. He forced himself to remain calm and carried out the ribbon-cutting ceremony. However, the viewers in the live stream were no longer thinking about how low the discount would be in his shop, but, "Miss, please join my live stream. Isn't she the tutu who has been trending all over the internet in the past 2 days? Why can't I find her live stream? Alliance live stream is getting beaten up. Why hasn't such an outstanding streamer signed a contract? In fact, the higher-ups of the Alliance livestream were also worried to death. They had sent private messages to Tutu's livestream account, but 2 days had passed and she still hadn't replied. Her account status also showed that she hadn't logged in. It wasn't that they didn't want to sign a contract, but rather, Tutu didn't care about them at all. Seeing that she had attracted a lot of attention from netizens after catching a glimpse of her in Feynman's livestream today, the higher-ups held a meeting and made a decision. They immediately asked the staff to rush to the scene and sign an offline contract with Tutu. As long as her request wasn't too much, they would consider giving her a B-grade or A-grade contract. At the same time, after the ribbon-cutting ceremony for Feynman's shop, he also announced the discounts on several popular models of optical computers. Most of them were 40% or 30% off, and the cheapest model was actually 30% off. It was a sky-high price. All of a sudden, the sales of Feynman's shop increased greatly. However, the expected crushing situation did not happen. On the contrary, the traffic at Fat Bro's shop was much higher than his. Although a portion of the people went in for the free snacks, 2/3 of them actually chose to buy an optical computer for the sake of the platter. In the past, it had always been a small gift for buying an optical computer. Why did it become a small gift for buying an optical computer? Was this the power of food? No. This was not marketing at all. Feynman was unwilling to give up. She asked her assistant to sneak into Brother Fatty's shop and wander around. She brought back a portion of Xiongyi's braised food. Beef was the most popular dish. The first pot had already been distributed, and the assistant had asked for a braised egg for him. Any housework robot could make a braised egg. But this braised egg was different from the one made by the preset program. Its exterior was smooth, and when one bit into it, it was chewy and full of flavor. Whether it was the heat or the timing, it was just right. It could be said to be a perfectly braised egg. Especially the egg yolk, it was soft and salty. Even someone like Feynman, who didn't like to eat egg yolks, almost wolfed down this egg. He wasn't done yet. A strong impulse arose in Feynman's heart. Without thinking, she said, "Go buy an optical computer and get a platter." Chapter 807. The assistant took out a plate of steaming braised food from behind him and smiled awkwardly. "I've already bought it." Feynman was confused. He was about to take the plate when he saw the loyal assistant move away and say righteously, "Boss, this is mine. If you want to eat it, I'll buy another set for you." Feynman was confused. The relationship between the boss and subordinate broke on the spot. Xiongyi's braised food tactic had an unexpected effect. Originally, she only wanted to use the fragrance of the food to attract the attention of the passers-by and draw them to the shop. Unexpectedly, the focus of everyone's attention was no longer on whose optical computer had a lower discount and whose price was cheaper. Instead, it was Xiongyi's pot of braised food that was about to be sold out. Xiongyi had prepared a total of 3 pots of ingredients, but she still couldn't resist the enthusiasm of the customers. It had only been 2 hours, but the braised food was about to be sold out. What she prepared were all semi-finished products. They just needed to be heated. If they were to be braised, it wouldn't be as tasty. Fat Bro was already very satisfied with this result. After all, today's sales were higher than the total sales for the past month. All right, Miss E, you've already proven your value. Happy cooperation. The bail money was too worth it. Xiongyi, the braised food is almost finished. We can start the barbecue now. Fat Bro. Ah? The young girl blinked, and her small face instantly became lively and cunning. I've made 2 preparations. After saying that, she used the optical computer to give orders. A few cute robots immediately carried out a stone slab, moved away the big iron pot of braised food, and placed the stone slab on it. Xiongyi brushed a layer of oil on the stone slab, then picked up the thin slices of pork belly and placed them on the stone slab. Sizzle, the unique sound of barbecue was like a cat's paw scratching, seducing the hearts of everyone present. Xiongyi then placed the marinated lamb with pickled peppers, New Orleans chicken wings, secret butter, green peppers, eggplant, potato slices, and bread slices. When the passers-by heard the sound and smelled the smell, they were all about to cry. Feynman. He was going crazy. Why? Where did this woman come from? Was she a hidden royal chef? Brother Fatty was overjoyed. Bailing out E was definitely the best thing he had ever done in his life. The killing power of this barbecue was even greater than that of the braised food. The aroma drifted far and wide, attracting more and more people to stop and watch. Everyone had the mentality of strolling around and eating for free. However, when they walked out of the shop, each of them had an extra set of barbecue meals in their hands. Oh right, I almost forgot, I also bought a new optical computer. At this time, a hover car stopped in the air. Several men and women in suits and leather shoes, looking like elites, locked onto Xiangyi's position. South City, private ward. E was tired from crying, and her mind began to work quickly. She couldn't be controlled by others, she had to take the initiative to attack. After rummaging through the cabinets, she found Xiangyi's phone. The corners of her lips curled up slightly. A few minutes later, the Spicy Tutu fans saw that their sister E had shared a link to the live stream. Xiangyi V, did you miss me? Come and chat with the babes. Carrot. The Spicy Tutu fans were so excited that they all rushed into the live stream. The girl on the screen had an exaggerated beauty lens, and at this time, she looked shocked. When did she become so popular? Why did millions of people watch her live stream? Chapter 808. E fiddled with her cell phone and finally noticed that the number of fans on Xiangyi's Weibo account had increased by several times compared to before she left. It had now reached more than 20 million fans. She didn't expect Xiangyi to clean up the mess that she had created in the entertainment industry and even become so popular now. There must be a lot of people who like her. At the thought of this, E suppressed the ecstasy in her heart and pretentiously brushed her hair in front of the camera before greeting her fans in a coquettish voice. Hello, everyone, I'm your favorite E. In the live stream, the Spicy Tutu fans suddenly felt a strong sense of dissonance. Who are you? Did Sister E lose the game of truth or dare? You're not Xiangyi, are you? Where did this AI face-changing monster come from? Did you steal Sister Yi's account? E was a little dumbfounded. How did this happen? I only said one sentence. How can these people tell that I'm different from Xiangyi? Little did they know that Two Under One Roof, which Xiangyi was participating in, was a live-streamed variety show. The fans watched Xiangyi's every move every day, and their understanding of the little girl was no less than that of their friends in real life. Of course, there were also fans who were more tolerant and felt that Xiangyi might be joking with them. They even spammed comments such as, "Sister E is so cute when she's coquettish." That made E feel smug again. She made up her mind and said shamelessly, "I'm Xiangyi. I'll be sad if you say that. Anyway, it would be useless even if they caught her for scientific research." Her body was Xiangyi's body. Although the Spicy Tutu fans were suspicious, they were still worried about Xiangyi's health. Hence, they began to ask about her condition. E chatted with the Spicy Tutu fans casually. "I'm fine now, yeah, thank you for your concern. Wow, you even sent me gifts. Why are you all spamming Shui's name? I don't think he's a good person at all. He's so fierce and cold. What group favorite? You guys don't know how badly my brothers treat me. They actually locked me up. Sigh. He won't let me leave this ward." In the lounge, Sanction and the others received the news as soon as E started streaming. Seeing her artificial appearance in the live broadcast room, Xiangyu frowned and felt very uncomfortable. This woman. In the past year, he hadn't been able to tell. Loneliness appeared in the eyes of the young esports god. In the end, it was because he cared too little for his sister. Xiangqi retched. "I can't take it anymore. I can't stand this thing saying these things with a bunny's face. I'll go get my phone back." Xiangli said, "Calm down. Xiangqi. You can tolerate it but I can't. Old 4, let's go and take care of it. Xiong Yu silently rolled up his sleeves. Sit down. As soon as the cold and steady voice sounded, the lounge suddenly fell silent. Xiang Qi and Xiang Yu snuggled together timidly, thinking that they must hide behind each other when they get beaten up later. Xiang Li explained, "There's a saying that you won't die if you don't ask for it. If you don't experience a beating, you won't know what despair is. The three of us have already arranged everything." Xiang Qi? Xiang Yu? So, are we being looked down upon for our intelligence? Isn't that right? On the side, Shi Sui, who had quit smoking for a long time, tapped his cigarette box lightly and took out several cigarettes. His voice was very hoarse and filled with hostility. What it owes Bunny, it must return 100 times over. Chapter 809. In the ward, E was still complaining and pretending to be miserable, hoping that she could live a better life through the support of public opinion. What she wanted was not to be locked up in this small ward for the rest of her life. Instead, she wanted to go shopping, flirt with handsome boys, and enjoy the attention and love of others. However, E did not get the effect she wanted. Not only did no one sympathize with her, but more people began to suspect her instead. I've cracked the case. This Sister E is a fake. Please call me a famous detective. Our Sister E is such a gentle person, she wouldn't be so full of negative energy. I really suspect that this Sister E is a fake. First of all, she doesn't even know that Shi Sui is her boyfriend. Secondly, do you think it's possible that her brothers bullied her? Of course, I believe that they bullied her uncle. Seeing that the public opinion was leaning towards her, E suddenly panicked. In the past, these idiotic netizens would clearly believe what she said. Why did things become like this now? E lifted the blanket and was forced to prove that she had been abused. I'm not lying to you. I've been imprisoned. There are bodyguards outside. She pulled open the door of the ward abruptly and looked at the camera. Did you see that? They're restricting my freedom. In the next second, what she heard was not the bodyguard's cold reprimand, but the bodyguard's respectful voice. Miss, is there anything I can help you with? E turned her head and looked out of the door in disbelief. Only 2 bodyguards were left behind, and they were female bodyguards who were specially hired. In addition, there was a maid and a chauffeur standing guard outside the door. The maid asked, Miss, do you want to go to the hot spring? There are hot springs in the rehabilitation area of this hospital, and the gentlemen have already ordered the best ginseng soup for you. The chauffeur asked, Miss, do you want to go shopping? Although the shopping malls are about to close at this time, we can still go shopping if we go to our own mall. E stumbled and said, No, it wasn't like that just now. She looked at the screen to see that the comments were full of doubts. You can't lie like that. I'm speechless. Haha, what a joke. You call this imprisonment? Then I beg you to lock me up as well. You're a fake Xiangyi, where did you come from? Go back to where you came from. Seeing you annoys me. What E enjoyed the most was being pursued by others. The hardest thing to accept was the criticism of others. She was not as mentally strong as Xiangyi. E hurriedly turned off the live stream. She felt uncomfortable all over when she saw those comments. Why were they all scolding her? She only wanted to pursue her own happiness. What was wrong with that? Take me to the hot spring. E said tiredly. However, the maid snorted coldly. Are you worthy? E? She was surprised by his 2 faces. Do you know who I am? I'm Xiangyi. Young miss of the Xiong family, a mere maid like you dares to speak to me like this. Do you believe that I will ask my brother to expel you and make you live a life worse than death? The maid mocked. She had no makeup on, but it was hard to hide her beauty. You? Ha, you're just a pheasant occupying a magpie's nest. Do you really think you're a phoenix? We're here to serve Miss Xiangyi, not a fake like you. Li Jianyu, the chauffeur next to her, secretly gave her a thumbs up. My sister Juan is ruthless and wild. This round of scolding was so satisfying. Chapter 8:10. E's face turned pale. How could this be? How could this be? Why can even a maid sense that I'm not the real Seong E? The bodyguard also changed his attitude. Miss, please go back. The gentlemen have instructed that you are not to take a single step out of the room. E said angrily, remember this, all of you. I won't let you off. She stormed into the ward and slammed the door shut. Her phone buzzed and vibrated non-stop. She opened it to see that it was full of messages she had received from various apps. Imposter. There will be retribution for stealing accounts. We like Sister E, not an AI face changer like you. There were tens of thousands of pieces of news that covered the sky and covered the earth. E threw her phone away, not daring to look at them again. She covered herself with the blanket, trembling all over. In a daze, E realized that perhaps what she would receive from this soul swap would not be a beautiful life, but hell. In the lounge. What? The live stream is fake? Lee Jianyu and Ruan Qing played the maid and the chauffeur? Xiang Qi was dumbfounded. Next to him, Xiang Yu was equally dumbfounded. Sangchen and She Sui went to the balcony to smoke. Xiang Li really couldn't stand the two of them muttering about snatching the phone, so he took the time to explain to them. Yes, that phone was deliberately left behind by She Sui. There's a small program I wrote in it. Every app she sees is no longer the original one. It can only be used within the hospital and is not connected to the internet at all. Xiang Yu asked, in other words, the so-called number of viewers, comments, and gifts, were all written by the program? Xiang Li smiled like a spring breeze, but his words were vicious. It's not difficult to write a fake account, right? No way, right? Is there really someone who can't even do this? Xiang Qi was speechless. Xiang Yu was speechless. I'm still being despised. Xiang Li sighed again. Your IQ is so low. If little uncle were here. I don't dare to think about it. On the side, Xiao Naofu was still typing on the tablet with its little paws as it let out an aggrieved meow. It was too difficult. This group of devils actually made him write down all the details of his transmigration with that stupid woman. His claws were about to break. Sob. Hearing this childish cry, Xiang Yu couldn't bear it and wanted to pick up Xiao Naofu to coax it, but was stopped by Xiang Li. The big picture is more important. The most important thing now is to get my sister back as soon as possible. Hearing this, Xiang Yu suppressed his natural instinct for furry animals and stroked Xiao Naofu's head. Good luck, little baby. Xiao Naofu blinked, and its meaty paws began to type faster. Stupid woman, hurry up and come back. This who misses you, meow. Far away in the manor, Xiong Feng sneezed violently. Who's talking about me again? He hugged little Shiji tightly and said with a look of distress, why do you all want me to stay at home? You don't despise me, do you? Little Shiji. Woof. Okay. Xiong Feng nodded. Definitely not. They're afraid that I'll be too sad and cry until I faint in front of little Xiongyi's bed. Do you think you can hide this from me? My IQ is online. Little Shiji. Okay. As long as you're happy. At the entrance of Fat Bro's shop in Star City. A sea of people was not enough to describe the grand occasion at this moment. Xiongyi sat in a cafe nearby, rubbed her sore wrist, and said calmly, sign a contract. Chapter 8:11. The staff of the Alliance's livestream were all wearing exquisite suits and looked like elites. Miss E, this is our contract. You can take a look first. The optical computer projected a contract, and Xiang Yi skimmed through it. The conditions of the contract were very harsh. She had to broadcast for 8 hours a day, and the content had to be about cooking or food-related content. The commission was only 30% instead of 20%. Xiangyi declined. Sorry, I don't have any intention of signing a contract at the moment. That Yi obviously didn't know how to cook. If the two of them switched, Yi wouldn't be able to fulfill the contract and the fans would be disappointed. Xiangyi didn't want to cause trouble for anyone. This was the basic upbringing. The staff looked at each other and revealed an, as expected, expression. It seemed that this tutu was quite scheming. She knew how to reject the offer. In the past few years, they had fooled many streamers into signing the contract and could only become the workers of the Alliance's live stream. If they went back on their word and didn't want a live stream anymore, they would face huge compensation. They were the best at manipulating newbies. Miss E, don't be in a hurry to reject us. You can have a good chat with us. Are you not satisfied with any of the terms? We can talk about it again. Our Alliance's live stream isn't open to just anyone. If you miss this precious opportunity, you can only live in the slums for the rest of your life. I'm afraid it'll be too late for regrets. The staff were clearly divided into two groups. One was playing the good cop and the other was playing the bad cop. They had the idea of signing Xiangyi today. Xiangyi expressed her attitude again. Thank you for your hospitality, but I have no intention of making a living from live stream. She was still a tough nut to crack. The staff were a little dissatisfied. They were used to dealing with stupid streamers and had a sense of superiority. Miss E, with your current income, you can only live in the charity house in the slums for the rest of your life. I remember that it's only a dozen square meters, right? Don't you want to move to a bigger house or even a villa in the rich district? Miss E, according to your previous live stream data, we have made a prediction for you. As long as you serve us well. In between the lines, other than persuasion, there was also a hidden suppression of Xiangyi. This method was a little dirty, but wasn't it fine as long as it worked? Before Xiangyi could reply, Brother Fatty had already pushed the door open excitedly. Sorry to disturb you. Today's sales have exploded. Just the flow of water alone has already exceeded 100 million. The mouths of the staff of the Alliance's live stream twitched. I'm sorry. I interrupted your serious business. Fat Bro apologized, but in fact, he didn't feel sorry at all. He sat down next to Xiangyi and glanced at the contract. He smiled and said, you guys, why are you using a B-grade contract to trick a little kid? As far as I know, with E's data, not to mention an A-grade contract, even an S-grade contract is enough, right? The staff member knew that he had met someone who knew the ropes and felt a little embarrassed. Data is data. When we sign a contract, we naturally have to consider some indicators, the leader said arrogantly. Yes, you're right. Fat Bro clicked on his optical computer, and another S-grade contract appeared on the screen. He smiled and said, Empire Live couldn't contact E, so they sent the contract to me. Look, what do these letters say? Oh ho, it looks like Ace. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.